a quick Dvar on Megillat Ruth. Megillat Ruth, we're going to be reading it during Shavuot. And while I was reading it this past Shabbos, this thought came into my head about the Megillah, and I think it's really connected to our days. I shared this on Facebook, but here's just like the background to it. I shared this like in video format, but the background is I was watching this week. A family member of mine said you should go see on the internet what's being shown on the news. So I don't always watch live news, like what the food lines and what people are going through out there outside of Pikesville. Like what's the world going through? And so I just like went into YouTube. I hit food lines just to see Corona food lines, and it's amazing to see some of these companies say they're like 4 to 6 times busier than they normally are, and people are donating lots of money, and so that these food supply businesses can stay open and keep running, and the volunteers are getting involved, and people are just you see these newscasters, they're interviewing people as they drive in. So people drive through and they pick up food and they go along. It's very efficient. Sometimes they won't even stop. They'll just have the trunk open and they'll drive through and they'll close it. But on these news broadcasts, the interviewer pulled the people aside and asked them, like, what's your story? What's the backstory here? Many of them said that some of them, there was like a PhD there. Another person had 2 jobs. They don't have 1 job now. The man said, I don't usually ask for food. I just want to support my family. I don't have a job. And some of these people are highly qualified people who are making a lot of money, and they just don't have money right now. And some of them said, I have savings, but I need the constant flow of money I don't have. And I'm worried now that my stimulus check is done. I'm going to stop getting this loan from the government. And people are really suffering and lacking, and their lives have been flipped upside down, literally. Like they could have expected. They had just a nice job, or they had working hard. They're working 2 jobs. Now they don't have a job. And it's not even their fault. It's just the reality that hit all of us. So many of us in our community, thank God, a lot of us have like savings or retired or whatever, but there's a lot of people out there that are suffering tremendously. And when I was reading the Megillat Ruth, it seemed like that was the message when it came to Naomi. Naomi, her name has the letters Nun Ayin Mem, which means comfortable. She started out comfortable. She had a job, or she had money, and they lost all their money. She lost even family members, and not overnight, but over a certain period of time, she lost everything. And she ended up at a certain point and then saying, "Are you Naomi?" She goes, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara," bitter. Her life went from comfortable to bitter. And she was lacking everything. And her and Ruth, she brought Ruth back to Eretz Yisrael, and they were destitute. They were poor, and Naomi had to ask for a handout from those who had it. And the only reason she was able to restore her life was because Boaz, his name is Boaz. He has the strength. The strength is in him. He had the strength and the wisdom to help Ruth and Naomi. And he had a lot of money. He was rich, but he didn't hold it only to himself. He said, "Let her glean from my field, and then give her extra. Pretend like she's just gleaning on her own, but put extra out there for Ruth to take." And he helped restore Ruth and Naomi and financially support them. And through that, they were able to live and thrive and grow. And I just was reading it, and I'm just thinking, like, whatever side you're on, if you're on the side of those who are suffering, those whose lives have become bitter when they were once comfortable, know that this happens. This happens, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And you have to do what you have to do. Ruth and Naomi, they fought, and they did whatever they had to do to survive, and there's no shame in it. It's just life sometimes happens like that. And from the side of those who have means, which is the Boaz side, maybe many of us in our community, there's a lot we can do. And it might not be giving a lot of money. It might be just your gleanings or your interest or something. But it's important to look beyond like our community. Boaz didn't have to help Ruth. Ruth came from somewhere else. She was called a Moabite. She's from Moab. He didn't have to help her, but he looked beyond his community. He looked at Ruth and he tried to help her. And through that, amazing things happened. Probably one of the more amazing things that could be for the Jewish people. She's going to give birth to the Mashiach, to Messiah. through her progeny, Messiah is going to be the Messiah is going to be born. So I think there's a good message for us, those who have means, to not to gird strength, and to pay attention to those who are suffering, those whose lives have been flipped upside down, and to even extend financially in one way or another, even if it's just some gleanings from your income or from your savings. But people need it right now, and through that generosity and that kindness, I think we'll be able to build each other up once more and reach out to each other, and God willing, we'll see blessing like there was in this story. Thank you.